I think a lot of journalists struggle with having way too many interests, and I wanted to see if you can comment on the importance of focus and how to go about focus.
Yeah, I feel like, after a while, you end up saying the same thing over and over again. Your focus should be on what you're interested in. I really, really believe that. And I know, again, getting back to these commercial realities, that is not going to necessarily be true always when you first go into a newsroom or whatever, but that should be the aim. And then the second aim should be to find some way to be able to do that regularly. I don't think the problem is ever that, people read about, too many different things or don't, focus on enough. I suspect that if you went back and watched this video and, listed everything that, I, mentioned or claimed to be interested in, you probably would find a line through all of it. It's just manifesting itself in different forms. That was the point, I was making about reading about Ukraine or whatever. It actually is the same thing. It actually is not, that varied. It really, really is the same thing. Like if I were, you say, well, Ta-Nehisi, what do you write about? Well, I'm very interested in power. And I'm very interested in how people who have power treat people who don't have power. And I'm very interested in when people don't have power, how that shapes their worldview and how they see things and what stories we need to tell ourselves. And whether, an unequal distribution of power is essential to like having a state, to people living, to having a society. I would never write an article saying that. You know what I mean? But at its core, probably all the articles are, trying to explore that or trying to, think about that, and it, doesn't matter, whether, you're talking about, gender, whether you're talking about, the seizing of eastern Ukraine, whether you are, talking about, the idea of resistance and collaborators in World War II, whatever, whether you're talking about colonialism and whatever you were talking about, at the end of the day, you probably can, get down to one particular theme that you really, really are actually interested in. Even though it manifests itself in all sorts of, different ways. And I actually think that's important for journalists. If you figure out what really, the central human essential thing that really, really is captivating you. And then try to see that, in many different varieties, I think is really, really good, because if you can do that, then you'll start to see lines, connecting.